Our next guest, Jason Alexander's career began as a teenager doing commercials for TV and radio. And in the early 80s, a love for live theatre would land him roles in numerous Broadway productions and see him claim a Tony Award in 1989.
Jason Alexander.
He's directed, produced, written and appeared in a long list of stage productions, TV shows and films, from Pretty Woman
I devoted my whole life to you
to Shallow Hal.
You ever heard the phrase that beauty is in the eye of the beholder?
Yeah. Did you ever hear the song Who Let the Dogs Out?
But it's his 90s role as George Costanza in Seinfeld that we all know him best.
George is getting upset!
I'm the opposite of every guy you've ever met.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
What do you do?
I'm an architect.
Save the whale, George. For me.
The sea was angry that day, my friends.
I'm really sorry.
I was in the pool! I was in the pool!
And after a previous sellout tour of the country, he's back this month, performing nationally on the Master of His Domain tour. Please welcome to the show, Jason Alexander.
I'm exhausted already.
Wow.
Wow. I'm in the business 40 years. I've never had an introduction.
Really?
Like
Oh,
that.
awesome. We have
Spectacular.
done an archaeological dig. We didn't
Yes.
want, we leave no stone unturned.
Deep cuts. Deep
And-
cuts.
I really
Yeah.
feel like applauding then. It's like I've been at a great show already.
Well, you have, and he's in a great show. I've toured with this guy. The live stuff is unbelievable because you are a triple threat. You are people. A lot of people don't know this, but your background is song, dance.
Yes.
You can tell
Yes.
tell a story, tell a joke,
Yes.
sing. It's
Anything to not work for a living.
and you're getting away with it beautifully.
Beautifully.
We'll get to your tour in just a minute, but I did want to, off the top, mention this once-in-a-lifetime experience. It is called You're a Good Fella. You're going to raise money by dining at Aria here in Sydney.
Well, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard
Someone
Do you
had to
think-
do it.
Do you think you're up to it?
That's the hard part.
To raise money for the Kangaroo Island bushfires, and
great.
it's a lunch. Your chance to lunch
God.
with Jason Alexander.
Yes.
Personally, I've had a few,
Right.
and they're not that great.
No, and that was with alcohol, and I don't know if alcohol's included in this.
Can we fill people in the
Yes,
background
please.
of the relationship between you two? Now, I'm sure, Jason, you can sympathise with me because I work with this guy every day, but you've been on the road with him, and I know what that's like too. Are they happy memories for you?
Oh my God, that tour in particular
Yes.
was so much fun. It was just so much
Yeah.
fun.
It was great fun.
I have been so lucky in situations like that. Even bringing it around to Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, "Oh, you guys work so well together." They go, well, it's an arranged marriage. We had never.
It's gotta
met,
work.
You, know?
You hope
You
it
go,
does.
fingers crossed. I hope this works. But that tour was so much fun. Actually, all the tours that I've done here in Australia have been great. But that was really.
It was a lot of fun. You were on stage. You were exceptional, and for anyone who has a ticket, I think there's a few tickets left.
Some have been
Not
released
many.
today.
Have been
Yeah.
released
Really?
today for this
Oh, that
tour.
means the promoters have not done this.
Just a
I
few.
can't believe.
or they're adding gigs without telling you.
Yeah,
Yes.
my
There's
God.
hardly any actually. We feel very privileged to have you here. That's why we're
Oh, stop.
no, seriously.
Please, no, I mean, finish your thought.
Come on, come
But
on.
we spent a bit of time together on the road, and you're just so wonderful with your fans. So I'll put it out there. I've never been as in the company of anyone more famous because we all bitch and moan occasionally because you get selfied at an airport or you do this.
Right.
But it was absolutely it was like seagulls squabbling over a chip every time this man walked into a room. Had people who should know better, and I'm talking about police officers, people working behind the
Security,
counter
yeah.
at airports, just lose it. They forget they're working. They
bet.
run around the counter, put a camera in your face, and I
Yep.
never, ever once
Can I just
saw
say you haven't
not
aged
to.
a day also. So that
Well,
is another amazing
I
fact.
just had
yeah.
45 minutes of makeup in your.
No, mate. No, you
But
look
you
the
never,
same.
Bless you.
So-
you never batted an eyelid, that comes with the territory, obviously. But
That's your product. The people are your product. That's your sales. I remember there's a great story. It's not mine, but it got to me. So Rod Stewart, the famous singer, had a wonderful house on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, and it was a pretty famous house even before Rod Stewart bought it because it had this extraordinary statuary right outside, and tour buses would stop for people just to take pictures of the
I
statue.
may have been in one of those.
So now he buys the house, and now people stop every day, and he comes out and he's taking pictures of people.
love
She was on a
that.
talk show, and somebody said to him, do you find it? Is it annoying that people were there taking pictures? And he goes, well. They paid for the house. So, and I went, yeah, that's the right attitude. That's
I have a little taste of what you're going through because I once got papped eating a burrito in Bondi.
Mick, you got to let it go. Let it go.
Sure. No, absolutely. Yes.
He
Did the
knows the
tabloid
level.
ever get to you? Because we don't read or hear much about you outside of your work. But can you remember one of the? Is there a crazy story that's ever been written about you?
There's one. It's actually not so funny, but there is an actor and director, mostly a director, named Jason Alexander back in the States.
Yes.
Now he works under the professional name, slightly different than mine. It's Jace.
Right.
And he ran into a little bit of trouble with the law, and it had to do with some pornography but. There was a big. I came out of a work thing, and my
Your feet, Twitter.
it blows up because it says writer actor Jason Alexander accused of and arrested and
Oh my gosh.
and it's my picture.
Oh no!
My picture. Now, if you read the article, it says not this guy.
This guy. Isn't
But if
that
you don't,
terrible?
if it's just the headline, so that's kind of.
Well,
don't
Twitter's
read 'em.
interesting because I've been following you for years on Twitter, and I love the fact that you never sit on the fence with anything. And that's what I totally, I do. I love what you say about Trump and his efforts in makeup recently, which were appalling. But you do it quite often, and I think it's eloquent. And do you enjoy? You must enjoy it. And do you get good feedback from people?
I get a mix. I get everything from right on, brother,
Yeah.
to if I see you in the street, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, great.
You know,
That's from Trump?
I don't do the political stuff to annoy.
No, it
the
feels
opposition.
real.
I do it actually to inform people who might not be informed, and to encourage people who of like minds to do. You know, when you have to vote. When you have to put your money behind your mouth, do it. So
No, it's really enjoyable. It's not pleading. It's
and I try to be. I try not to be rude, and I try, he, all things
Must be
being equal,
tempting.
he is the president of the United States.
The first time you came to Australia, true or false, was that for Jeffrey Edelston's wedding?
I think that was the second
Was
time.
that the second
Yeah,
time?
I think it was the second time.
That was.
Did you actually MC it?
You MC'd it?
I don't think I emceed it. I think I had to get up and give a toast to two people I had never met and could care less
But why
about.
not?
But
Why the hell not?
In a casino.
Yeah. No, was it in a casino?
I think
No,
it
it was
was.
in a ballroom, I think, at Crown.
I think it was a huge
ballroom.
ballroom.
The casino sort of down
Yes.
below.
Yes.
But,
it was I can't believe those kids didn't make it. They were so.
They were so well suited, weren't
It
they?
was such a fairy tale romance.
Oh, yeah.
You should
for
probably do
sure.
a charity
Yeah,
gig for them
yes,
right now.
I think so.
Which would be great. Let's get into the big one and Seinfeld, and it's the basis of your tour.
Well, apparently it's been 30 years. I
It's been
was not
30
aware of
years.
that.
And not a day goes by when it's not available on some platform anywhere in
that's
this
true,
country
Yep.
or the world. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Firstly,
Sure.
about the audition process, because I'd love to know how that went for you
Sure.
and how you left feeling.
Absolutely. Realize, by the way, you're doing half my show right now, but that's
After
fine.
the,
That's fine. No, people have bought their tickets, so screw them. So the audition was a little strange in that I lived in New York when they were casting, and all the auditions happened in Los Angeles, but they were having trouble finding George in particular. So they called a New York casting director and said, here's 4 pages from our pilot script. Just put some actors on tape that are kind of funny character guys.
Yes.
And I got called, and I knew nothing about the show. I had seen Jerry Seinfeld perform stand-up, but other than that, I knew nothing about it. I looked at the 4 pages. I said, it kind of feels like a Woody Allen script to me. So I did a blatant Woody Allen, blatant imitation. That's where the glasses came from. That's where the very thick New York accent came from.
Yes.
I went in, I did the audition on tape, and I thought, well, that's it. I'm never going to see that again.
Yeah.
They're not going to hire me from that. I got a call a week later saying they'd love to fly you out to meet with Jerry and screen test with Jerry.
Wow.
I went, well, all right.
Interesting.
And I flew out, had a lovely day with him and Larry David. Larry met me, and he said, we love everything you're doing. Back off the Woody Allen thing a little bit. New York is great, but not quite so Woody. I did the audition with Jerry in front of the brass at NBC.
Yes.
Literally 30 minutes later, went to the airport, got on an airplane. When I landed back in New York, there was a message saying, you got the job.
Fantastic. And did you realize at the time you were doing Larry David? Or
No,
you were playing
absolutely
So, did you then study Larry David?
Yes.
Once you, you
Yeah.
got the
So,
job, which is fascinating.
If
to
you
me.
look at the first, 10-ish episodes, Woody Allen is still my role model for the first 10 episodes. Somewhere, and I wish I could remember. I got to go back and figure out what episode this was, but. Somewhere around episode 10, a script came to the table and we read it for everybody, and it just seemed preposterous to me. The situation just seemed crazy. So I went to Larry and I said, Larry, please help me with this because this would never happen to anybody, but if it did, nobody would react like this. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. This happened to me, and this is exactly what I did. And so... and that's when I realized that George was sort of an alter ego avatar for Larry. And then I started really kind of studying Larry.
You said you saw him do something when he gets angry. You noticed?
Oh, it's not just angry. Yeah, it's a tick that he has. If you watch Curb, you'll see it all the time. So it's whenever he perceives that somebody has insulted him or is undercutting him, and he does a thing, and it'll be fabulous on radio because it's all physical. But he puts the tip of his tongue at the bottom of his bottom teeth, and he does this face with these eyebrow things, and he goes, and it's just like he's weighing it. He's weighing: do I attack? Do I retreat? What do I do? And it was a real clue to me about this is a character. George is a character who constantly perceives the world trying to crap on him, and he just has to figure out how much of a response, because he knows he deserves it, but he also doesn't like it.
I think the respect that both Jerry and Larry have for you as an actor, one of my favourite scenes, of course, is that you're a marine biologist, and there's amazing soliloquy that you say in the diner. The sea was rough that day, my friend.
Angry. The sea was
angry.
Yes,
he was angry, and Jerry actually was telling the story. They wrote it the night before.
He's wrong. They wrote it the night of.
The night of. Okay, so it was.
We did. I can't remember if we did a performance of the original ending in front of the audience.
Yeah.
Or if we did it at dress rehearsal. But up until the day of, there was a different ending, and it wasn't that. And we did the scene as written, and then they had a little powwow, and Larry came over to me and said, how quickly can you learn a monologue? I said, how long a monologue? He said, I don't know, about a page. I went, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Wow. And he wrote this thing, and it was brilliant. And
that's the only time you didn't rehearse it. You just
never rehearsed it because the
it.
audience was already there.
Right.
So we ran it once for the cameras, but the audience couldn't see it. And then they pulled the curtain away, and we did it one time for the audience, and that's the take that's in the show.
Incredible. Speaking of brilliant writing, your answering machine message.
Oh.
Was there any other options ever put on the table?
I have no idea.
Lucky you can sing.
Let me tell you, singing
badly is hard.
Badly, without it being completely ridiculous, was really, really hard.
Here's a sample of your work.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out, or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home.
Oh, it doesn't rhyme either. It really annoys me.
No, it doesn't. It ends with a thud.
There's a lot of problems with that.
Yeah.
Answering machine message. Any chance ever, and this is for the boffins who are huddled around the radios out there, could you ever perceive a reunion or a live show or something down that track?
Oh, no one's ever asked about the live show. A lot of people have asked, would we follow suit for some of the classic sitcoms that are rebooting
and going on?
And I have not spoken to Larry or Jerry about it, but my guess is, as a betting man, I would bet against it because they tend to like to set a trend, not follow a trend. So I think they would feel it's been done. I think they would both agree that we sort of did our reunion on the Curb episodes. But a live show, that's interesting. I don't know if they would look for some other alternate.
I remember Monty Python getting out there and doing those live shows, and people got a buzz. People got a buzz of just seeing you. All of you are so well loved. To see you back on stage, people would just get a thrill.
Let me proffer this to you though. We were in our 30s and very early 40s when we were doing the show, and we were marginally acceptable at that point. I don't know how cute we'd be in our 60s, being being the same schmoes that we were 30 years ago. I'm not sure.
I think you'd be fine.
And I think it's way below Julia's dignity these days.
Oh, never.
She's won 37 Oscars and Emmys, so you know.
And also, it annoys me because, well, for all of you, she should win an Oscar for her performance. You know, her acting is so brilliant. I get really annoyed when I see the Academy Awards and award show that not enough people who do comedy are.
Why isn't there a category for comedians?
Yeah.
Comedy. Because, comedy is so pedestrian. Mick? No, everybody assumes
Because it's really hard to do. And it's, a no-brainer when you can scream.
I mean, it is relatively easy to tell a good story as a dramatic actor.
Yes.
It's very hard to get laughs, and it's even harder to get laughs with material that isn't that
Sure.
funny. And so you have,
It drives me
when you see
batty.
people that accomplish that, you
Yeah.
go, you are a magician. There should
On
be
award
one.
shows, what's your feeling of award shows? Have you hosted them before
I
yourself?
have. I hosted the Emmys one year.
Yeah.
I hosted a couple of things.
Turned up to the Oscars in an ordinary outfit, which has been doing the rounds.
Right,
Was it jeans and a bum bag?
Something like that, yeah. Listen, if somebody throws an award at you, you go, oh, wow, I'm
Yeah.
all that. Most of the time, I don't understand. I don't know what the criteria is to compare one role and an actor's performance in that role. It'd be
Yes.
one thing if you said, we had 10 actors
Yes.
do the same film, and you were the best one. It's another thing to go, you did that role, you did that role, and I liked your role more. I always think the award should be, and the Oscar for Best Role of the Year goes to, it's really
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Indeed. I'm glad you consented to do this interview. And I love it because I know you don't do them all. The Actors Studio is an interview that you famously would
And why is
never
that,
ever
Jason?
do.
Why wouldn't you do
'Cause
that?
all the best actors in
It
the
feels
world.
pretty pretentious.
That was the
but-
thing. I loved watching it, and I just thought
Yeah.
if James Lipton. Now you have to have a certain kind of career to sit across from James Lipton. But
Sure.
if James Lipton turned to me at the Actors Studio and said, "Tell me about your preparation for Dunstan Checks In, the movie with the orangutan." How did you make the choice?
How did you prepare
please,
for
for
that?
God's sake, I'm in a monkey movie. please."
What about film? You've been a bit stingy with your film
You have
roles. I don't
been.
feel
It's
like...
not me.
Well,
Don't blame me.
Hey,
you,
I've-
love it.
yeah.
You light up the screen.
I've seen
come
you
on-
recently in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I thought that was
Yes,
a
that was
great
fun.
role
That was fun.
you did
Yep,
there. But are you happy to chill, or would you like? Because
So I have for the last 15 years, I've been actively moving my career to the directing side, and I won't name them for you because they're not up and running yet. But I am directing 3 upcoming Broadway pieces.
oh, fair. Well, that is
So
your. I mean,
that's my
your
love.
juice.
That's my
and I
first
saw
love.
something with your son as well, which is really. He's a really
you see
good
Dinner
looking.
with Dad?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love that concept.
Oh,
This is
bless
where.
you.
Well, Jason, you play a heightened. Jason
A version
Alexander
of
with his
myself,
son,
yeah,
who's
yeah.
a really good-looking hot guy,
Yeah.
just quietly.
Yeah.
And it's you catch up once a week, is it, at a diner?
Well,
with
we
Dad?
did.
Yeah.
We actually filmed about 10 of those, and they all aired, and we haven't done them for a
They're
while.
really
but
well done.
It was
Yeah.
a premise about my actual son and I meeting at a diner once a week for dinner, and talking about something that had to do with the business, but also about our generational divide, and that was really fun.
was
Really fun.
well done.
We wrote them together.
Yeah.
And we,
Oh,
it was
good on
And
you.
did you do a
so
big
much fun.
season in Vegas? I think you did. Did you want to do one of those protracted runs in
I
Vegas? at
did.
one stage?
My friend Peter Tilden, who's out there in your green room, he and I wrote a show years ago that was really fun called the Donnie Clay Experience, which
Yes.
was a comedy show that we did in Vegas. But I never appeared as me. I appeared as Donnie Clay, America's 4th leading motivational
Excellent.
guru. And the whole evening was like a motivational seminar,
Yes.
but it was just stupid and funny. And we did a residency in LA.
Because
Wow.
you don't mind,
Vegas
you
for
don't
that.
mind a game of cards too. Are you still playing a bit of poker?
You may find me in the room before
But
I.
be careful because your background's in magic. So just
Yeah,
be careful
no,
if you play
believe me.
cards with this man.
It was not card magic.
That might explain
Yeah.
a little bit. Thank you for coming on the show.
My
It was
pleasure, my
Great to
friend.
catch
We
up
could talk
with
to you for 2 hours, you
We
realise.
could, and
Of
we've
course.
left alone the Seinfeld because I know it's the base. A lot of the
Yes.
questions we could sit here and ask you questions till the cows come home.
And I would know the answers
And
to
you would
none.
know the answers to most of them. But if you wanted to fire some questions at this bloke, he will answer them all.
Well, there's not
You
many
go
tickets
along,
left, so good luck.
You get involved. And don't forget once in a lifetime experience, an intimate lunch with Jason Alexander at Aria, to raise money for Kangaroo Island. Good on you, mate, for doing that.
Yeah,
this
pleasure.
country's been tipped upside down
Yep.
in recent terms, so that will go a long way to helping out those people. Only 9 places. We should bid on
No,
one.
you know what? No,
won't
we should
bid
be the
on this.
waiter and waitress there.
We should
Also,
do
you know,
it.
when they say an intimate lunch, that implies nudity of some kind.
Intimate is lunchtime and intimate. Yeah,
I don't know what that
doesn't
is.
know if
Yeah.
that goes.
Well, you could come out like you did on Seinfeld with no top on, leaving the
Absolutely,
bathroom.
yeah.
And
That's
that will
that's
do
a
it.
good appetizer right there.
9 places available for a lunch with a great man. I would prefer the late dinners after a show, which were always the highlights of my day. And then a couple of drinks afterwards. Good on you, mate. Enjoy your time out
you,
here.
my
And
friend.
thank you for swinging by.
My
the studio
pleasure. Good to
today.
see you all.
Lovely to see you.
To bid on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with Jason Alexander, go to lunchwithjason.faevent.bid. This is Kennedy Molloy.